All right, guys. Sorry for the wait. We had the kids needing some help real quick. You know how it goes. That's why sometimes I'm like, maybe we should do 7:45 just to make sure we got time. It's good to see you again. Sorry for being late. I love to have all of you here. We had a really good live last night. I had a lot of fun with you. But tonight obviously is going to be a little more serious. I'm going to give you my initial thoughts real quick. All I saw immediately was that she did another interview. And at first I was like, what is this? And then I saw that she actually sat down with a new person. So we're going to react to it live. I'm sure some of you have already watched it. Excuse me. The last time I looked at it, it looked like there was people were still tuning into it. So it looks like it's about 20 minutes. And again, like I said, I waited just for you guys to give you my thoughts and react to it. So we're gonna get right into it. Okay. Let me get this out, get the cord out the way. Come on, Colby. I'm just a mess tonight. You know, it's good to see you guys. We're gonna hop right in. I am gonna be pausing a lot though. I don't know how if it'll take our stream down for the copyright or anything of that nature. So we're gonna try to pause a little bit more often just to make sure we can avoid that. But love your shirt. Makes me crave pineapple pizza. I actually wore this shirt. This does have a little significance to it. I'll say it real quick. I wore this shirt for my memorial for Tylee, Charles, and JJ for the documentary. That was one real moment that I really felt that I needed. So, yeah, this shirt, excuse me, this shirt is definitely significant. So, appreciate that. Okay, here we go. We'll see how this goes. Oh gosh. How do we get ourselves into these situations, everyone?
Yeah.
Can I put this paper on here? Or will it be kind of on the?
Yep. Totally fine.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd be like be on camera. My handwriting's really sloppy.
We're rolling. I've been so curious to talk.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say real quick, this lady, it's not this lady's fault. We're gonna specifically critique Lord.
You for a long time. First and foremost, I want to ask you, why did you decide to represent yourself at this trial?
There's lots of reasons. Obviously, being pro per is not an easy job. I'm not an attorney. I do not have training to be an attorney. There's something that I figured out when I got to this jail. You know, this experience has been 5 years running.
Okay, why does she sound like she has something in her mouth? And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. She sounds like she has retainers or something. She already, as her complexion looks, she looks a lot more calm. I don't know. How'd they set this interview up?
I went through a whole trial, before in my other state, and then I was brought here to Arizona to face some more serious charges. And I came here with the intention of having a speedy trial, right? I wanted to, these charges came first, right? So they're like 5 years old. So I, first talked to the attorneys. I was like,
she's acting normal. She's acting really normal. I'm just a little I'm a little thrown off because obviously we saw what happened in the interview with Keith and mostly they showed her hostile moments, but this is a very normal version of her, which I haven't seen in a very long time. So maybe she feels more calm with this lady.
They've had 5 years, the prosecutors, to put their case together, and I really want to go to trial. Like, we need to go. So I'm in a max pod, with the max women, and there's about 8 women in my pod facing death penalty. And, I was facing the death penalty in Idaho. I was the only one in that jail because it's a very small town and a small jail. But here, these women have been waiting for their trials for 5, 6, 7, 8 years to go to trial in a jail. Okay. And
I'm baffled. I'm sorry. I'm just taken back a little bit. She's acting so normal. I don't know how to put it into context for you guys other than she's acting completely like a normal person.
And then
Really odd.
during this experience, I've been in 4 different facilities during this experience, right? Because I've been shuffled all over the country, right? Came from Hawaii to Idaho to Boise, back and forth. So I've experienced 5 different facilities.
I just see a question. Is this the Lori you knew? Whoa. Whoa. Is this the Lori you knew? I think closer to the version I haven't seen. That this is the more of the version that I recognize. So I think that's why I'm a little bit confused. I think that's why I'm a little bit taken back here because I don't know why she seems so normal. It's really hard to put into context.
Now, this is the 5th facility I've been in, and it is the worst.
What exactly about the conditions bothers you the most? Because, everyone's going to say, what did you expect? You've been convicted of multiple murders. So what were you expecting in this jail?
Well, the people that are in this jail haven't been convicted of anything, that are in the same exact situation as I am. They're innocent. They're innocent right now, and they've been here for 5, 6, 7, 8 years eating slop every day, the same thing every single day, not going out in the sunshine, not having proper medical care, not
Okay.
having proper dental. If something goes wrong with your teeth, you know what the dentist will do from jail? They pull your tooth out. That's it.
So you're
So I think it's a tough situation because what would it be nice for people to be treated a certain way? I'm sure, but at the same time, you're making the theme of this has always been she's such a victim and acting like this is so unfair. Okay, if you are the victim, why not just tell the story that you've told me to everybody else? Tell the story, and you wouldn't be in this position, but you said you're in this position because you'd rather protect Tylee. So then stop complaining. If that's
fighting
really
for
true.
the other inmates here who are waiting for their time in court.
This is what I found out. Arizona, different from other states, and I only know the 2 states because I've only dealt with 2 judicial systems, right? Has no intention of giving anybody a speedy trial, even though it's your constitutional federal right. Okay? So what
Who has she been
I
talking to?
am fighting for these women, I'm fighting for these women and trying to set a precedence here that you can't just leave these women in jail for years, because the conditions at the prison, if you do get convicted, are a million times better than they are at the jail. Jails are not designed. They're not all over the country.
This is nonsense. This is irrelevant to anything in the world. This is just blabber.
Jails are not designed to let you stay long term. The average person in jail goes 3 months. You're in there for 8 years. You've had teeth pulled out all over. You don't have any.
What are you going on? What are you talking about? This is so irrelevant as far as an interview goes. The problem is, I think this whole situation with her, she's trying to. Okay, I'm talking about the interviewer. The interviewer's probably trying to give her the space to speak, and that's a mistake because you are going to get a conversation about teeth. She's going on a tangent about teeth. I'm pretty sure no one freaking cares about the teeth.
The thing that you need here. So I talked to my attorneys and said, I need to go. And they said, we can't do it because I agreed with them, right? Because I said, from their professional stand, they want to go to court prepared, right?
Of course.
I'm a hairstylist. I used to charge tons and tons of money in Austin, Texas to do hair. So I'm not going to charge someone $400 to do their hair and let them walk out the door and not let it look good, because that's my reputation. So
this is what's scary. And this is why we've covered psychology on the channel for such a long time now. We're at a point where she views herself as the Lori that has always existed and refuses to realize that the Lori that is now standing is not the same person. There's a complete dissociation between the two people, and they're both her. She's refusing to believe what happened. So it literally is blowing my mind, because she's sitting there with a straight face talking like Lori, my mom, as if none of what's happened has happened, and we are just completely negating everything that I've ever heard about this case, and we're just throwing that out the window. This is the hairstylist, this is the mom, this is the churchgoer, this is the everything that was before. I can't. It's really actually interesting to see a person, let alone your own mother, be able to put this together. I did not expect to be shocked. I thought we were going to hear the same thing all over again. This is Lori, the mom, talking. And this is why it's a mind F right here. This is exactly why, because she can put this on as if, and it's just so convincing. It's like, this is what I think Keith was saying. You sit in front of her, and this part of her that you're receiving, you're like, oh, this is a normal person. She talks like a normal, like, this is a complete different side you guys are seeing, but it's effing crazy. It's not normal to be able to split yourself between two. You ever seen the movie Split, when the guy starts crawling out at the end?
Talk to my attorneys. I said, I understand where you're coming from. I understand 100%. I don't want to put you in the position where you're saying, I can't do a good job for you. I can't do this for you in this amount of time. But I've been working on my case for 5 years. So I know my case better than an attorney can learn it in 2 years. But here's the thing. When you waive your speedy trial, then they can keep you here as long as they want. There are intelligent, strong, beautiful women in here that have been here for 8 years because of family tragedies. It's the same like my case.
Oh,
a family
shut
tragedy,
the
not
F.
a crime. A family.
Okay, so what just fell? The Star Wars hat. It fell in anger. Can you explain to me how you can possibly believe this is a tragedy outside of your doing? Can you actually explain to me how you can possibly believe and tell yourself so much? You must be repeating this on such a level that you believe this. Like, there's no way you can sit here and look me in my eye and tell me that this is a tragedy that happened to you. You wouldn't be in jail. You're crazy. Holy crap. Holy crap, dude. This is to me is more information about her in this interview. And this is nothing against Dateline, but showing this side of her tells you guys a lot. And I'm baffled right now.
Tragedy, and they're waiting and they're facing the death penalty for a family tragedy. I know these women. I talk to them every day. I try to uplift, strengthen, and help women in this jail, and I think that's the purpose why I'm here.
Can you define family?
What?
Tragedy for me.
Yeah.
Obviously, you were convicted of killing your kids. Where does that
Wrongly
disconnect?
convicted.
You believe wrongly convicted.
Absolutely, 100%.
So then, how do you address that? You were convicted of it. They're not here. So what happened? Okay.
Mm. Oh. Muted at the request of the attorney. Oh,
To your point, you're not an attorney.
Correct.
You know your case.
So they had to my gosh, that's crazy.
but you're not an
You
attorney.
are your own attorney.
How
Who
do
told you
you
to stop?
expect this is going to work for you next week and in these months to come, acting as your own lawyer?
I have help. I have a wonderful team that I got to hire, which is great. I have my paralegal. That's wonderful. I have my investigator. I have my advisory council that helps me. I'm just going to do the best that I can. That's all I can do. I'm trying to help the women here. Like something that happens in Arizona that didn't happen in Idaho, something that's different.
No wonder no wonder it was edited. Yo, the amount of information that doesn't matter is filling it. Here's the thing too. Again, I'm looking at this as somebody who knows her deeply, in and out. I'm watching this from my perspective in a very different way to explain to you guys how psychotic this really is. I'm in shock, man. I know I keep repeating myself, but like I'm almost at a loss for words because how can you be so convicted of this truth? Okay, let's just play the devil's advocate for just 1 second with me, okay? Let's pretend that her story's true. Let's pretend that the story that she told me of what happened is true. Let's just pretend. Her actions afterwards, the running, the lying, the hiding, none of that is congruent with that story. So now I'm trying to sit here and process with you, how in the world could you even tell yourself, based off what you know for a fact, that that you are wrongfully convicted and that you have a better chance of fighting for your life, and the reason you're there is to help these women. You're not on a godly mission. You absolutely have zero biblical basis. You are completely blasphemous. You and your husband, okay, Peter Griffin, you're both out of your minds. He already backed out, okay? The leader, the dude that was more of the leader, he already backed out. You're still in. There has to be something absolutely driving this woman to a level of insanity. Because there's no way you can sit here and tell me you pitch to yourself every single day that this is the reality and you're only there to do God's work. What God do you serve? How can you possibly sit here and tell me and tell this woman straight to her face that you have no idea, you are completely wrongfully convicted, and that everyone in the world, let's just look at that. Everyone in the world is after you. Everybody, right? Everybody was like, where's Lori? The second they got to this earth, on your 28th life here, they all just got the pitchforks and said, Lori, Shrek, I'm coming for you. Okay. I'm gonna have to make fun of the situation just so you not cry. They got the pitchforks and everybody's after you. So they convicted you because of nothing. They went after you because of nothing. Your actions afterwards, you couldn't make up a lie for that. So you just told me, well, you're not aware of what happened to the kids after you found them in the state that you found them. And then you just left and went and got married and nothing, and there was no problems with that. And now you're in trouble for no reason. Why am I trying to figure it out? It's never going to make sense. I don't know why I try to figure it out.
Is there, they really respect your right to a speedy trial. And so I wouldn't waive my speedy trial, and they finally pushed it to trial. The judge does go over, and for any reason, they can move your speedy trial out, right? But here, the first time you go to court here, if your attorney stands up for you and says, oh, we're going to need more time because you were supposed to go in 4 months, right?
Mhm.
You have a certain amount of time and you're supposed to go in 150 days. And if your attorney says that, it automatically waives your right to a speedy trial. So the women that are here and their attorneys say, we're going to help you, we're going to put your case together, we're going to do all this stuff. They didn't know the first time that their speedy trial got waived, because they're like me. I mean, I was 46 years old when I got arrested. I've never been arrested before. I didn't know how the judicial system worked.
You're talking
They're
a lot.
in the same boat. So they didn't actually know at the time that they were waiving their speedy trial right.
I've been in the courtroom for
Talks. How many times have you said that? Oh my gosh, you've said speedy trial 15 times, and I know I repeat myself, but gosh dang, girl. Sheesh. How many times are you going to repeat yourself about the speedy trial? No one's even, oh my gosh. Come on now.
for some of this, and then I've watched it as well. When you're addressing the judge and the state, you can get a little snappy with them, and I know you're
That's a good
upset
question.
with what you feel as witnesses that are being precluded from the trial. What's your biggest complaint? What do you want to see happen? And is that the tone that you want to take throughout this trial?
I don't think I'm trying to set a tone. That's not my intention, is to set a tone. And I'm not a fighter. Okay. So my whole life I've been a peacemaker. I'm a person that loves everybody.
If this was whiskey, if this is a big bottle for a big boy. Okay, hold on. If this was a shot, I'm doing the whole thing. Yikers. 62 liters right there. Well, not liters, some 62 of some in there, ounces, whatever. My gosh. Slow it down. I'm sorry. I just need to break it up for my own mental well-being. I need to take a second to breathe here. Thank you, Tracy. What's really getting to me on this, it's really actually effing with my brain right now, because if you met this version of her, I keep forgetting the cameras, if you met this version of her, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference of what you've been seeing. Does that make any sense to you? It's such a great camouflage. She's really sitting here super coherent, and she's acting like she used to. And I'm like, okay, so does that mean you were always this way? Does that mean the other side of you has always existed, but it just finally like was released? Were you always evil? Were you always big boy whiskey time? Were you always this way? I mean, you can't be both. You can't just become this without it at least somehow existing. I don't know. I don't know how to explain to you what I'm feeling right now.
A person that gets along with everybody. I don't like to fight. So this is a challenge for me to even fight for myself, to fight for these women, to kind of stand up for the first time in my life. Because I'm kind of been, I'm a people pleaser by nature. And it's been really difficult for me, but there's so many wrongs in the system. There's certain things that your attorneys won't say for you, because
This is psychotic.
here's the problem. Your attorneys, they're professionals, right? So they're colleagues with the prosecutors, they're colleagues with the judges. And I get that, because I've worked in a professional environment. So I get that. You have to be, they argue their points, and then they go out to lunch. Like, I get that,
A
right?
professional environment and the judicial system aren't even close to the same. You did hair, they studied law. That's not even close to the same realm.
I'm not doing that. I'm fighting for my life here, really.
There's this notion from people in the public that feel you're representing yourself because you have nothing to lose, that this is a challenge, kind of a show, a game for you. Do you agree with that?
I never hear any of this stuff, because I'm in a room 23 hours a day, and we don't have any access to any kind of news. So, or any kind of anything really. Like, so I didn't know that people were saying that, but I wouldn't agree with that, obviously.
What's your mindset going into trial? What do you believe now, and how do you feel as we're just a couple days away?
A little bit stressed.
It's a big case.
It's a big case. It's stressful. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of legal things that have to be done. We're working on stuff every day. We're working late into the night. The biggest challenge.
I hope this isn't too much to hit with you guys with, but can you imagine, and I almost feel like a third person right now, like it's almost not reality. Can you imagine your mom, knowing your mom your whole life, and then watching this happen? And I'm almost having like an out of body experience when it comes to that, because it's like, I know that's the person that gave birth to me and raised me, but at the same time, I can't fathom it. Can you imagine knowing someone your whole life and then they start acting the way that they have, like a total prick for years, and then all of a sudden they're sitting there and they almost seem exactly the way that they were? I can't put into context how unbelievably wild that is. And I can't tell you that I can't explain to you how confusing it is right now to watch her. And it's so bad because I know that it's not real. And I know that she's just must be in an environment she feels a certain type of way in. And she feels whatever kind of confidence or safety with this interviewer to present herself as more of a human being. And it's wild to see it like this. I haven't seen her like that in a long time.
For me in this trial will be the logistics. I want to be able to go and talk to the people who have stood up and lied about me. I get to face them face to face. I think that's important. So the hardest thing is here, they wake you up.
You want to go back and forth face to face with people when you've caused more pain and tragedy in 5 years than I even thought was possible. That's your goal, to face liars. That's what you want. You get to stand up for yourself because you've always been a people pleaser. Am I on another effing planet right now? Oh, dog. I don't want to snap off. Hold on. It's a choice. I'm going to keep my composure. I feel like I'm going crazy watching this because what are you talking about? Yeah.
Go to court every single day. And you sit and you sit and you sit and you wait, but you're woken up and you're transported and you're getting back to the jail at like 5 and 6 o'clock at night. I'm going to have to prep for the next day for my witnesses. I'm going to have to meet with people. I'm going to have my, paralegal's going to come over. We're going to get paperwork ready. We're going to get, our stuff ready for the next day. So the hardest thing, it'll be lack of sleep. Nobody does good with lack of sleep.
Are you worried about the legal things you don't know?
Obviously, there's lots of legal things that I don't know. I have been studying. I've been studying a lot, the law. I've been studying it for 5 years. I've been talking with attorneys. I had a team of 11 people in Idaho, some really, really smart people. People were brought in all over the country from different states and everything because I was a death penalty case. And so I learned from a lot of people, and I'm a smart person and I paid attention. I consider myself an intelligent person like a lot of these other women here in this jail. And
I see, and I'm looking into her eyes, and I'm seeing a person. Damn, dude. This is wild. If she would just stop, this wouldn't be a problem. And you're going so much harder to save face than it's worth. There's no reason for her. I'm looking into her eyes, just trying to understand what could be going through her brain, because you've hurt so many people without any regard. And I'm trying to say, is this a mental illness? Is it really because you can't help it? And I don't believe that at all. It's too manipulative. It's too calculated. It's too surgical to be mental illness to the point where you have no idea what you did was wrong. You're sitting here very coherent. Hence why I think she's allowed to stand trial. So there's something else behind this all that I cannot understand. But it is really hard to see and look in her eyes and realize that she is a piece of her exists still, but at the same time, she's completely gone. Wild.
And, you know, we're trying to do the best that we can. I know it's not going to be perfect the way an attorney would do it. So that's when people say, like, she has nothing to lose. Like, I don't necessarily think that I'm going to do a better job than the attorneys can do. That's not my intention. My intention is to say the things that I would say for myself. I mean, I sat there during a whole trial and I discussed a lot of things with my attorneys and asked them to say very specific certain things that were important to me, just as a person, as a human being. These things are important that you say this for me, and they wouldn't say it. So, and I get the professionalism and I get what they're
Because you're
doing,
nuts.
but sometimes you just have to be able to do it for yourself.
You want to be your own voice.
Yeah.
Going over your case and all of it for years, I mean, it seemed like you had the life that so many wanted in Arizona. You had it all.
I loved our life here. Yeah.
Why are we here? Like, why are we
question.
at the place we're at now? You had that life. Why throw it away?
It's tragedy. Families have tragedies. Things happen, and there was a domino effect of tragedies in my life, and that's really sad.
What do you describe that domino effect?
You are
of what?
really, really sad, huh? A domino effect of tragedy. You chalk up everything that's happened to each person that you were deeply involved in, their taking their lives of your own husband, your own daughter, and your own son, along with other people like Tammy, and trying to get Brandon. And you're going to sit there and talk about a series of unfortunate events of a domino effect that happened to you, and now you're in jail. So if it was all not your fault, why are you in trouble?
What?
Riddle me that.
It's probably something that we should save for next time.
Do you still believe in those things of the dark and the light spirits and the zombies? Is that still part of your belief system, or have
Just
you
gonna say it never was. I
changed your
guarantee it.
beliefs?
They muted it. She said, I never said that. She said it. She said she never believed it. You are... Am I crazy?
Do
No.
you consider you and Chad still together?
Sure, of course.
And how
Sure.
is that going to work with you? He's on death row and you are in prison for life. How do you continue that relationship, that marriage?
In the best way that you can, the only way that you can.
What's the only way?
What do you think people have wrong about you?
Pretty much everything.
Like what?
Specifically, I don't really know what people think, because I don't have access to the kind of media that you guys are watching all these things. I never get to watch anything. So I hear things from different people. I get text messages from people saying, oh, so-and-so said such and such. And I'm like, okay, I don't have access to what the people know. So I kind of can't clear it up because kind of don't know what it all is.
If you could clear something up right now, what would it be?
That I love everybody, that I'm here for a purpose. I think, God put me here in this jail, the worst jail in the country, they say, and I really can't argue it. But when I got here, the girls were like, did you know that you got brought to the worst jail in the country? And I was like, I can't argue that it's not. But he brought me here.
I don't understand. Oh my gosh, bro. If you really are reading your Bible, which I pray honestly that she reads her Bible, without her preconceived notion and her absolute sick belief system, there's no way you can match your actions to the Bible and tell me that this is God's plan for your life, because you clearly do not know God at all. And the fact that you genuinely believe in your heart that this is God's will for you and to say that to another human being, I don't have words for that.
To help uplift and strengthen these women, and that's what I try to do every day. I taught. I'm a certified group fitness instructor, and I worked here at Fitness Works and taught.
You were when I was 13.
So I teach a workout to the girls every day. We laugh together, we cry together, we pray together. We're all in our separate cells. We're in there 24
Those girls
hours a
need
day.
to get out of communication. Get out of the communication of this. This is some Jezebel, serious, deep stuff. Do not mess with this. They might not ever hear this, but if somebody can get the message to them, do not associate and do not pray with her, because she is not praying to God who created the earth. I promise you.
So we just talk to each other through the cell doors, right? Like each of us get out an hour a day and we can talk to each other through the door. We have to take our shower and whatever. But this jail, some days you'll be in your cell for 3 days. They go on lockdown and you don't get out for 72 hours. You're just in your room. So I'm here to help strengthen these other women. Sometimes God needs somebody to go into the trenches. And I think he put me here for that purpose.
A follow-up question to what you said.
You're in the trenches.
Love everybody. Does that include your children?
Absolutely. I love my children. I've always loved my children. There's never been a question.
Even being convicted of killing them?
Wrongly. Mm-hmm. Of course.
Do you plan to take the stand yourself in your own trial?
I haven't decided yet. Don't need to decide that. Legally, you don't have to decide. So we're going to see how it goes.
And that would be a situation if you did decide, where your investigator or somebody would ask the questions to you on the stand?
Yes.
Okay. That was my understanding too. I just want to make sure I was correct on that as well.
Well, my understanding is that the advisory council would have to do that. Yeah. But I would have to write the questions. They can't ask me anything that I don't.
And you have to pre-submit those. You can't just go up there and say what you want.
Correct. Mm-hmm. That's my understanding.
That was my
of
understanding.
The law.
That was my understanding as well. This is probably one of the more unprecedented situations. You were involved in choosing your own jury. As a non-attorney, what was that process like for you?
That was an interesting process. I mean, it went way better than I thought it was going to go. The process in Idaho is so different. It was interesting for me because it was so different. And I have had that experience. So I was like, I kind of know what's going to happen here, but every state is different, right? Every county is different. Everyone's going to have their own.
I can't read it. There's something about her. I cannot figure out what's going on. I can't understand. I can't figure it out, dude. It's bothering me that I can't read what's going on. I think what hurts the most is you take my entire family, then you bring God into it, which I had to find God on my own, by the way. because I was so confused after everything that happened. And then you take all of your wrongdoings and then saves because of God, because you're a servant of God, because you're in the trenches, because you're doing all this stuff to serve God. So I don't know. What happened? Did it say copyrighted? Son of a frick. I should have paused more, huh? Well, come on, YouTube. They got us. Are you guys still there? How did we violate something? Are you guys still there? That's garbage, bro. Well, that sucks. Yeah. Looks like we probably played it for too long. That was my bad. I got caught up in the moment. Okay, good. You guys are still here? I got caught up in the moment for a second watching. All I saw is you guys saying, "Oh crap, it's gone." That sucks, dude. So it's that media is just gone, huh? That's crazy. Well, I don't know if I can even add it back or if it's just maybe it's probably because we went too long. We could start a new stream and try again and do a part 2 right now. That might work. I think there is, let me look real quick. There's only 3 minutes left, but I still wanted to tell you guys what I think. All right, let me see if I can do this. Can you guys see that? Can you guys see the screen the way that it looks with the I just pulled it back up. Yeah? Okay. I don't know what that means. I don't know what the copyright thing means. Last time it just struck everything that had to do with that media. So what we'll do is we'll be very careful. Hopefully let us play the video. If not, I don't know. We might have to pause every like 10 seconds. So we'll try one more time. But if you guys can see the screen, that means we can try to watch it one more time. Okay, this is the very end.
Rules of how they did it. I have to say that I was pleasantly surprised that the judge was very fair in doing the jury selection in some ways.
The fact that she acts this nice to everybody else, but treats the judge the way she does in front of everybody is wild to me. Like the fact that you actually are so nice to this girl you've never met, but you're dealing with this judge on a day-to-day, and the way that she acted towards him last time was crazy and so rude and so unbelievable. So she's really, really nice to this lady. And I guess it looks like they gave her the time to speak. They gave her the time and the ability to say what she wanted to, which she says a lot of nothing, to be honest.
So I think it went really well. It went really fast. I didn't expect that. I thought it would take a long time. So I feel like it went as well as it could go.
Are you nervous?
We have to pause it. It's just going to copyright us again. It might cut me. You guys, I don't know. This reaction stuff, when you start looking at others people at people's stuff, they get real touchy with it. So we got to be more careful. You guys, I might have to do a little number like this.
Nervous? for Monday.
I'm just kidding. Let's see. I don't know how much longer we've got.
See how it goes. I try not to get nervous.
Oh, did they get us? The audio changed really quick. They got us twice. Man, frick this. Frick this. That sucks. I don't know why. They must literally be on here. That sucks. All right. Hold on.